Announced at Gamescom 2011, Escape Plan was one of the Vita's most anticipated launch games. There was a huge amount of positive buzz from the game's media and fans following its reveal, partly helped by its stylish and unique black and white graphics that helped it stand out from all the Vita's launch games. Escape Plan was developed by Funbits Interactive. The studio was founded in 2010 and was made up of part of the team that made the Fat Princess game for the PS3. Escape Plan was a puzzle game where players guide two characters, Lil and Large, through various rooms solving puzzles to ultimately escape from the evil Bakuki who wants to turn them into his mindless minions. At launch, the game's primary control method was the Vita's front and back touch panels. For instance, Little and Large could be moved by touching them and swiping, obstacles could be pushed to the background by touching them on the front screen, or moved to the foreground by touching the back panel, and enemies could be distracted by touching them. While this was a unique selling point of the game before launch, in practice this became its biggest drawback. The controls became uncomfortable in some cases to contort your hands in just the right way for some of the trickier puzzles, and accidental brushes of the screen could easily result in death. This caused a lot of frustration when playing Escape Plan, which the developers recognized, and in October 2012 they released a patch allowing buttons to be used to control the game instead of touch. As mentioned, the game looked amazing. The film noir black and white graphics were sharp and the characters had a shine as if they were wearing black latex. The environments looked dangerous with chainsaws and electrified cables. The reimagined classical music tracks suited the black and white graphics well. Clap and laughter tracks gave the feeling the player was part of the audience watching the clumsy pair as they die and die again. And death was one of the most memorable parts of the game. Hearing that splat sound and seeing the body explode into liquidy goo became very common, and was almost fun to see how the various traps would affect Little and Large, and to see the black goo painting the walls and floors after each death. Every time a character dies, the number in their stomach increases by 1 to remind you of all your missteps. Although the game could be frustrating, especially when death is caused by an accidental touch of the screen, it was also useful in helping the player learn the level and know what to do and what not to do. The puzzles were varied. They ranged from moving obstacles out of the way of Little and Large or distracting Bakuki's minions, to giving Lil coffee to make him move fast and dodge dangers, or blowing him up like a balloon to float past obstacles. The game was cleverly designed, teaching players new mechanics before testing the player to combine multiple mechanics with precise timing to avoid death. There were 78 rooms to complete in total. Solving the puzzles and reaching the door at the end of the room led to the next trap-filled room. There was a 3-star rating system for how well you did in completing each room. The more touches you required to solve the puzzles, the lower the score. Getting 3 stars on every room added replayability and challenge. The developers labelled Escape Plan a survival humour game. The aim of the game was clearly to survive the deadly trap, but it had a dark humour with the audience laughing at some of the gruesome deaths, and the music adding to the over-the-top death scenes. The game's reviews were mixed. It was praised for its art style, humour, low price and for its quirkiness. However, the touch controls drew a lot of criticisms for making the game awkward to control. Also, the game did not always recognise a touch straight away, resulting in players dying or missing out on the 3-star rating due to needing to compensate for the lag in recognising touches. It was also criticised for easy, straightforward puzzles. Despite the mixed reviews, the game sold well. It was a top-selling Vita game for February and March in the US. After launch, the game received 3 DLC packs with new environments and puzzle rooms. The new levels did not add a huge amount of variety from the original ones, but players could customize Little and Large with new costumes. The first and second DLC packs were sold initially at a massive discount. The first pack, The Asylum, cost only 25 cents or 25 pence in the UK, with the price increasing 2 weeks after they launched. The third pack did not have a discount, and as a result it did not sell as well as the first two. Patch 1.04 was released in October 2012 and added non-touch controls to the game, which made the game easy to control, but by that point I'd already stopped playing Escape Plan, and due to the large size of the file and expensive memory cards, it had already been deleted from my Vita. Playing the game again years later, I did find the touch controls much easier to use and found it easier to get 3-star ratings on each of the levels. Escape Plan was later ported to PS4 for the PS4 launch. It was a cross-buy title, so anyone that had previously bought the Vita version could download the PS4 version at no cost. With its unique art style and fun characters, it seemed like a game that could be the new PlayStation handheld franchise, like Patapon or Loco Roco were for the PSP. Despite strong initial sales on the Vita, the mediocre reception and the low DLC sales compared to the main game meant Escape Plan never had a sequel. Funbits went on to make Fat Princess Adventures, which launched in December 2015 on the PS4. My personal opinion was similar to those of the reviewers. I liked the style and concept of the game, but the touch controls added an unnecessary difficulty to the game and made it frustrating at times. Playing with the button controls definitely made the game easier to play, but by the time the patch had been released I'd already lost interest in the game. Like most of the Vita's launch games, it tried to show players the different and unique features of playing on a Vita, but this resulted in a game that could have been better if it had just stuck to using buttons. Thanks for watching, and please check out my other Vita retrospective videos linked below.